Welcome to the first episode of the Live Your Best Life podcast. So, to build the life we want, we need to start the right way. To build the life of your dreams, we have to be really clear about what that life actually looks like. Not what looks good online or what sounds impressive or what other people expect of you, but actually what you really want. And then once you're clear, you need to ask yourself something deeper. Are the things I'm doing every day actually helping me to get there? Or am I just busy? Because here's the truth, you can't build a life accidentally, and you can't hit a target if you haven't clearly defined it. Most people just say they want more success, more happiness, more freedom, but more of exactly what? Let me ask you this. If nothing changes over the next 5 years, if your habits, your health, your work, relationships all stayed exactly as they are now, would you be proud of where you're headed? If that question feels uncomfortable, then stay with me. So, firstly, have you just made some New Year's resolutions? Every January, we decide this is the year for new goals, the new body, new routine, new mindset, new life. And within a few weeks, most of the time, we feel a bit behind, unmotivated, overwhelmed, already slipping. And we assume the problem is our discipline. But what if the issue isn't you? What if it's the timing? January sits in the middle of winter. Nature is dormant, trees are bare, the days are darker, and energy is lower. Winter is a season of conservation, of reflection, and slower rhythms. Yet, this is where we expect ourselves to be able to launch fully into transformation mode. It's like trying to plant seeds in a frozen ground. And there's a reason it feels hard. Historically, the new year didn't always begin in January. Before reforms under figures like Julius Caesar, the earlier calendar systems were more aligned with the natural cycles of the earth. There was a 13-month calendar, 13 months with 28 days, which would align clearly with the lunar cycle and seasonal rhythms. And in that structure, April, the heart of spring, would be the beginning of the year. And think about that. April is when everything starts to come back to life, when the days are longer, energy rises, the growth is visible everywhere. This is the creation energy, the planting energy, and where momentum comes. Spring is a season of beginnings and becoming. Winter is a season of preparing. So if your New Year's resolutions feel really heavy in January, maybe it's not failure. Maybe the winter is meant for vision, for planning and clarifying. But maybe spring is when you're meant to execute. Another problem that we have is maybe too many goals and no structure. Timing aside, there is another issue. We try to change everything at once. We decide we're going to get in our best shape, change our careers, start saving up progressively, learning new skills, meditating, fixing our sleep, being more social, start a side business, all at once. Loads and loads of goals with zero prioritization, no clear execution plan. And then we rely on motivation to get us there. And motivation is so inconsistent. So when our motivation dips, everything collapses. But this isn't a motivation problem, it's a system problem. So to define our perfect life, step one, before we set another goal, we just need to pause and just think about what your perfect life would look like in detail. You can break it into categories, so you can look at your health, relationships, work and service, your material lifestyle, your passions and interests. What does your body feel like? How much energy you have? Where do you spend your time? Who do you spend your time with? What kind of work are you doing? How do you feel on a random day? Try not to edit yourself, try not to shrink your vision, and try not to filter this through being realistic. We just need clarity and direction. And without clarity, our effort is just scattered. So really just think about, what would that life look like? And really describe it. Get pen to paper, describe it in loads of detail. Then step two is to separate the long term from the immediate. So when we look at that vision, we can divide it. What are the long term, say 3 to 5 years away goals? And what could we realistically start in the next 90 days? This step reduces the overwhelm. So you're not trying to achieve an entire future in this quarter or this year. You're going to build towards it. So we have a long-term vision, but with short-term executions. The next step is to maybe split the year into quarters. So instead of attacking every area at once, you choose one core focus per quarter. Give yourself a theme. One season might be for health, another might be for professional growth, another one might be for finances or for relationships. When you focus deeply on one area at a time, that's when the progress accelerates. You build layers, you create momentum, and you stop living in this constant overwhelm of trying to do everything at once. Then we need to schedule it, or it doesn't happen. A goal without a timeline is just a wish. If fitness matters, it goes in your diary. If learning matters, you block the time out. If connection matters, you schedule those appointments. And just as importantly, you schedule reflection. So we'd have a monthly check-in. We schedule in where we're going to look back and see how much we've actually achieved in that time. We can do quarterly reviews and see if the theme for that quarter, have we actually moved forwards? Ask yourself what's working, what's not working, and what needs adjusting. And this turns your hopes and your dreams into a strategy. The truth about goals, and the part most people miss, is the building blocks of achievement. This is not the goals, they are the habits. Goals are the outcomes, but habits are the process that gets us there. So when motivation fluctuates and routine stabilizes us, on high energy days, motivation feels powerful, but on low energy days, routine is what's going to keep you moving forwards. If you want consistency in results, you need consistency in your daily behaviours. So what we can do is, once we've defined our goals and we've worked out the actions that we can do, we need to set ourselves some daily non-negotiables. These are the things that are our minimum standards. They're not extreme or overwhelming, just consistent. So for fitness, it might be some daily movement, just 20 minutes. For growth, it might be 30 minutes of reading or working towards a qualification or practicing a skill, but just setting aside and scheduling the time in to do that. For self-care, it might be 5 minutes of meditation. It could be planning a nutritious diet. It could be overhauling your skincare routine. It could be an evening wind down routine and like a sleep ritual. Small actions repeated daily compound dramatically over time. And these are the true building blocks that are going to get you where you want to be. Habits build self-trust. Every time you follow through, you reinforce your identity of someone who shows up. And that builds confidence and builds momentum, and that builds commitment. And that commitment is what builds your results. So confidence doesn't come from achieving the goal. It comes from the promises you keep yourself over and over again every day with these daily habits. So my closing reflection would be to ask yourself, are my daily actions aligned with the life that I say I want to have? Am I trying to change everything all at once? What is the one habit that I could implement this week that would move me forward? You don't need to build your dream life in one dramatic leap. You can build it in quiet, consistent daily actions. So winter may be for reflection and spring may be for action, but for the life you want, it's built every single day. So I hope what you can take from this is that when we actually start to break down our big life goals into smaller actionable steps, it all becomes more doable. Now, I'm designing a book that you can use, a workbook that you can use to format this whole process moving forwards. So that is going to be available on Amazon. It's in the process of being published right now. So when it's available, it'll be in the notes. If you leave a comment, goals, I'll send you the link to Amazon as soon as it becomes available. If you're listening to this right at the beginning, it's not going to be quite there yet, but it will be available in a few days' time. So I hope you found this helpful, because I truly believe that to really build the life that we want, we've got to be really clear on what it is we want and set a strategy and a plan in action, but doing it in a way that is manageable on a day to day. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I shall be back next week with a whole new topic. Keep an eye on my social media. I'll pop those links into the show notes as well. So as we get towards next week, I'll let you know what next week's topic is going to be all about. If you found this useful, do drop me some comments. So let me know what action plans you're planning on doing. If you've used any of these strategies before, let me know how you've got on. And hopefully we can all start building towards our future together.